Okay. Let's go. Right then, folks. Hi. If anybody jumps in, hopefully I'll get a notification. So we're going Facebook there. So excuse me, Facebook, if I don't look at you too much. I've got Zoom going on my laptop as well. So I'm hoping to be able to host the lesson here, or the trial session, so you've got an idea of what it looks like and how it will pan out. It's also an idea for me, so I've got an idea of how it's going to look as well. I know in my head what I want it to look like, but when you actually put it together, then it just becomes real, doesn't it? So yeah, it's as much for me as it is for you guys, which is why this is free, which is why there's no charge for any of this. But if you're interested in joining any of the sessions or getting your children signed up or your child signed up, drop me a message after, comment during the session, and I'll get that sorted. So here we go. So I can see somebody jumped on. Hi, please feel free just to say hi or send an emoji or something, just to let me know that sound is okay. You can see me okay. And what I've said is I've got my laptop running here with Zoom whilst I'm live on Facebook, in the hope that I can record the session whilst broadcasting live. The Zoom link is on my page. If you wanted to come and join in the Zoom room, you muted and camera off, but you're welcome to join the Zoom just to kind of get the feel for it. That's how the lessons will be hosted. And there'll be a chance at the end on Zoom for a Q&A as well for the last 5 or 10 minutes or so, hopefully. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so what we aim to do is each session there'll be some kind of light quiz or a fun activity to start to get the kids involved, get the brains working, probably to get mine working too. Apologies as well, those who don't know, I'm Mrs. B, but I'm assuming that everyone who's watching does know who I am. Okay, so let's go to screen share. And I don't want my Facebook page, do we? We don't want my girls either. We would like the times table quiz. So this is the kind of thing that we'll do to start. We'll kick off with some kind of light quiz, an arithmetic challenge, a Kahoot quiz. If some of the kiddies are familiar with Kahoot, we'll be using that so they can interact with me as well, which will be, hopefully that'll be pretty cool, and just really engaging. Obviously, always as I am always about, it's the aim is to make it as much fun as we can, even though it's SATs. So I know you won't see this on Facebook, but what I've got running, in fact, if I can show you, flip the camera there. Oh, don't look at the mess of my office. So we've got a PowerPoint quiz going. So this is what will happen. So we'll go through the quiz, get the children to type the answers, shout them out in the room wherever they are. So they'll be muted. Yep, you don't want to see my untidy office. They can call out answers to me. They can type them in the chat box, whichever they prefer. So the Zoom's going on. So send me your answers if you are there. And come back, reveal the answer. So 6 3s are 18. 7 8s. Well done. I'm just whizzing through quickly this evening so you've got an idea. Again, if you're jumping into Facebook here to watch, please use the Zoom link that is below to click into the Zoom, and then you'll see exactly what's going on the screen, folks. Okay, thank you. Moving on. So we're going 8 times 5 is. Send me your answers in the chat. Doesn't matter if you're right or wrong, just have a go. 40. 6 times 9. So again, I'll be giving the children a chance to work that out. I'm not going to be putting anybody on the spot. I'm not going to be picking on children during the sessions. It would just be to get their brains into gear. Okay, so it might not necessarily be times tables. So we can quickly whiz through there. Okay, so that will be the same every session. My aim is to have kind of a starter activity. And then following on, let me stop my share. And then what we'll do, so you'll be able to see on here in a second, what we will then do is, sometimes it might be on screen. Why is it all of a sudden when I do a live? I've got like a frog in my throat here. Okay, what I will then aim to do is to move up to the whiteboard, or we could use the facilities on the whiteboard screen on my computer, and we'll then carry out some whiteboard work. So again, to jump into the Zoom, we're on Zoom here and I'm screen sharing on the laptop. And then obviously you can see a little bit on the Facebook page here. So what I thought we'd do tonight is just show you kind of a couple of examples from one of the SATS papers. I think I shared the link earlier to the SATS page where I find the papers to download. It's free for everyone to use. You can just jump on there at any time. So use that link to download any past papers, I think to 2016 or 2015, and you can download them and use them from there. Okay, it's really not a flattering angle, that is it? Goodness gracious me. And it's cold in here tonight, so we've got, I know you're not really interested, but we've got a huge bed here waiting to be collected. It's cold because I've got the dining room door open. Okay, so what we'll then do is we'll say, right, we're looking tonight. I'll tell the kids in advance which paper we'll be looking at. And we're going to have a look at one of the questions. So we'll be putting this up on the board. And again, it might be on the screen if we're working on the screen. This is question number 1. I can't see it brilliantly on here, I know. Question number 1 from the 2022 paper, okay? And it says, circle the greatest number. So obviously the key here is we're looking for the language, the greatest, okay? I've left my markers over there, haven't I? So the greatest is what we're looking at. And obviously we're looking for the children to have understanding of what that word means. So greatest means biggest or largest, okay, the largest amount. And then what we're going to do, if I write out the numbers so we can see them, they're huge numbers. This is what I'd be encouraging the children. So write out the numbers if you are unsure and put them down in columns for place value purposes. So we've got a 9, 206, 499. So again, I'm looking for the children to be doing this with me. So write these numbers out. That's no better, is it? Okay. Let's use a blue pen. Let's switch it up. We love a rainbow. So we've dealt with that one. 9, that's better. 215300. Next one, 9206504. 9. This one here, 215298. If you can read these, brilliant. If not, we're not worried. I'm not bothered at the minute that the children can read these numbers. We just need to know that they understand the place value order. And the final one there is 9206909. So then I'll be asking the children, can you have a look, see if you can sort them into the greatest. If you've done it already, that's absolutely brilliant. If you think you found the greatest one and you want to send it in the chat, please do. If not, don't worry, write it down for yourself, tell someone you're sitting next to, and we'll see where we're at. Okay, so what we're looking at then is, if I change that one so we can see that one too. What we can see, and we're looking for these patterns. So if parents, you're supporting your children, always be asking your child, what patterns can you see in numbers? The patterns we can see here are, they all start with 9 and a 2. That's 9,200,000 for anybody who's not sure or who wants to know, okay? So if you knew that, brilliant. If not, that's what it is. It's 9,200,000. So we're now looking at the 10,000s column, which is this one here. There's a 0, there's a 1, there's a 0, there's a 1, and there's a 0. I then know those two with the 1s are somewhere near the greatest number. They're bigger because 1 is bigger than 0. So I know I'm dealing with these two. So I'm now moving along to the next column. I'm looking at that 5. And it was this one again. Oh, and there's another 5. So that's the same. I've now got to go to the hundreds column. This is where place value knowledge is really important. Okay, so if your children aren't sure of huge numbers, I'll show you a place value grid shortly. I've got some that I can send copies. If parents want copies of, please let me know. In the hundreds column, remember we're looking at this number and this number only. We're not bothered about the others at the minute. The greatest number. Now we've got a 3 and we've got a 2. Well, we know, I'm sure we should know in year 6, If you don't know, don't worry. We've got time to work that out. Which number's greater, 3 or 2? We know the 3 is greater than 2. So then I'm going to find that number, 9215300, which is here. And I'm going to circle, was the instruction, circle the greatest number. Let me pull that off so you can see, folks. So a lot of what the SATs questions kind of usually involve, there we go, Facebook, because if you're looking, as awful as it is, the SATs papers are so often sort of deemed about, oh yes, of course, Deb. Right, I can solve that one. I don't want to see the start of my office. How's that? Tilt that. That's going to be, is that any good? Thanks for letting me know, Deb. Ah, you can see the top of my ring light, but at least you can see the numbers, yeah? Hopefully that's a bit better. I do apologise. See, technology, you can tell I haven't done a live for a while, can't you? This is why we trial these sessions. There we go. Okay, so that's sort of, we're getting there, aren't we? So, lost my slipper. Here we go. So what we've got then essentially is, as I was saying, it's a bit of a language test as well. So we're looking for children to understand the language, which is something else that I will cover as we go through, okay? And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to minimise that screen. Oh, I cannot minimise when recording. That's okay. Let's continue. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to open up Facebook on here so I can see who's commenting. Okay, brilliant. Aha, better. Excellent. Thank you, ladies. So yeah, okay. So the camera angle is different for you on Facebook. However, at least we can see. So what we're going to do next is we're going to have a look at another question. So let me do, we're still screen sharing, aren't we? Yeah. Showing all of my screen. So now let's come to next question. So we're going to pick question 2 from the same paper. Okay. So here we have question 2. One table can seat 8 people. Okay, apologies, Facebook, because if you can't see that. One table can seat 8 people. We've got a diagram of a table. We've got an arrow pointing to a chair, so we can then assume that all the other things around it are chairs. The question in blue here highlighted, how many tables are needed to seat 40 people? Oh my God, I can read backwards and through paper. That's amazing. So the answer is how many tables? It's worth 1 mark. So we know there's not hopefully going to be too much working out to do. So let's have a look. I'm going to give the children a chance to have a look and see if they can figure out what they think they might need to do. So having that thinking time. If anybody wants to send me an idea of what they might need to do, feel free. There we go. And I'm coming down here so you guys can see too. Yeah, I need to sort out my technology. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. There we go. So my screen sharing that now, I think. Good old Zoom. Okay, so when the children have had a chance to kind of digest the information, we're going to suggest that we read back through it again. So one table can see 8 people. We know that's a key word. We know 8 is key. Okay, let's clear off the place value. And please excuse tonight. It's literally just whizzing through. I obviously will spend longer talking through the questions and the topics that we're covering, what methods we need to use. The sessions will be in more depth. Okay, so what we've got then, we have, again, I've forgotten my pens. 8 people, that's key. We know here's a table. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to mark on that paper, no problem, because nobody's going to mark me down for doing that. It's helping my thinking. I can see it, it's visual. So it's helping me store that information ready for the next part. How many tables are needed? So we need tables to seat 40. Well, I know I can seat 8. 8 is one table. So 40 is how many? Let's write that on the board so we can see. I know that one table is 8 people, P for people. I know that how many people? Well, I need to look here at the relationship between these numbers. So I'm thinking 1 and something, 8 and 40. There's 2 things we can do here. So I'm going to ask the children then, send me your answers in the chat if you know what we need to do to work this out. If you don't, that's fine. We're doing it together. We need 40 and we've got 8. So we can either do 40 divided by 8 to give us question mark, or we can do question mark times 8, because how many tables with 8 on each equals 40. Now, if your child, or I'm talking to you and you're not quite there yet, then what I would be recommending you do then, we've got a circle with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people on. I'm going to draw another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've now got 8, 16. I'm going to draw tables. Again, I do apologise. That light's not great, is it? I'm going to draw tables until I know I've got to 40. Have we got an answer, folks? Send me your answers if you have. I'd love to know. Send me your answers. Da-da-da. Where are we? There we go. It's gone off again. That's really bizarre. Technology. Yes, again. Good job we're having the trial. So what we're looking at then, we are going to say we know that 40 divided by 8 equals, well done if you got it, 5. Now to check, okay, and this is what I'm doing when I'm talking with the children and we're working through these questions, I'm going to encourage you to write as much working out as you need, okay? You've got a whole page, you can fill it. Let's check it. 8 times 5 equals 40. Yes. So I'm doing the inverse to check. So that's another thing that I'll be doing, is giving them tips to go back to make sure that that answer is correct and they're happy with what they've done. Check, check, check as well. If your children are doing SATs papers with you at home or any example questions, things that have been sent home from school, get them always to check. Do you know what? When they're at home, get the calculator out. Don't get them to do it before they do the question necessarily. But I will always, with my students, and when I'm working through SATs papers with year 6s, we work a question out, we get the calculator and we figure out if we're right, because they just love a calculator. And then the satisfaction of working it out and seeing that answer correct, get in, they love it. So there we go. Right, okay, that's another one. Bear with me. Don't need to share that, do I? So... okay, I think we're live now there. I'm not quite sure what's going on the Zoom at the minute, but I'll see. I will see. Okay, so is that live? That's my camera that's live there, isn't it? It's cutting into me, isn't it? But hey ho. Right, so let's do one more then. A slightly more wordy question, and what's it asking us to do? Something slightly different. Again, you know what? It's so cool because it's this test of language, isn't it? So here we go. Emma has a 5-litre bag of compost. Wow, nice one, Emma. She uses 2.75 litres. You see that okay? This blue, the blue ribbon, the blue tab, that's the most important thing. That's the question that we need to answer. How much compost does Emma have left? Let's process, okay? Let's think about, what do we know? We know that Emma's got 5 litres of compost. Do we need to know it's Emma? No, we don't. Do we need to know it's compost? Not necessarily. We need to know there's 5 litres of it. Do we need to know that she uses Yes, we do, because if she's using it, she's taking that away, isn't she? She's using 2.75 litres. How much does she have left? Had 5 to start. She took 2.75 away. Let's do a subtraction calculation. Ta-da. No, is that better? Let's see if that angle's any good. I bet it's not, is it? No. Bear with. No, that's not going to work either, is it? There we go. That's slightly better. Yeah, that's amazing to hear, Deb. Honestly, you make me so happy to hear that, because that just tells me how much progress she's made with her maths. So if she's listening, Mia, haven't I always said you're a shining star? Absolutely. Just brilliant. Perhaps you could do a bit of a challenge for me one of the days. You could complete one and send it to me to see how good you are. Right, let's have a look at this question then, shall we? So Emma has a 5 litre bag of compost. I'm going to show you a mistake that some of the children might make. So she's got 5 litres. We could put 5L to represent the litres, but I'm not going to, okay? I'm just doing the 5. I really need some new pens. Hopefully you can see that okay, but I don't think you can. My sincere apologies. So we've got a 5. We're going to take away 2.75. Now, this is what some of the kids might do. 2.75. Because they know they can't have nothing here. If we were to do this, well, I know a lot of children that do that and go, that's not right, because there's nothing here. That doesn't look right. I need all my numbers coming this way. Well, actually, this is right. Again, we are coming back to place value knowledge, okay, and understanding decimalisation. The decimal falls at the end of a whole number before you go into fractions and percentages and decimals of amounts, okay? So it's not this one, because although that's lined up there, the decimal here falls here with the 5. I always talk to children about money when we're talking decimals, okay? Just helps them understand. A lot of kids understand money. So they get decimals when we put it in that context. So if you don't do that already, do it. So let's imagine that 5.00 is money. That represents £5. Well, hang on. If that's £5, 5.00, what's 2.75 in money? So I'm waiting for the children to tell me if they want to guess it or send me the answers in the chat. We know it's £2.75. So hang on, let's sort this out here. 5.00. Doesn't that look better? Amazing. Just, oh, hello. Something simple, like popping that 0. And a lot of you will have heard your children refer to that as a placeholder, okay, or a place value holder, maybe. It's just a placeholder. It holds the place of the numbers. There's nothing there. Nothing is represented by 0. 0 is nothing, so that is fine. It doesn't affect anything that we do. So now we know she had 5 litres. She's taken away 2.75 litres. Look at exactly what I'm going to do. I'm taking it away. Here we go. Another mistake. 5 take away 0 is 5. Actually, no, it's not. So another really simple mistake that a lot of children make, and we'll go over making these mistakes. I will make those mistakes. That's what I do to help them realise that does not work. Well, let's do it. 0 take away 5 is, if we did it the other way, 5 take away 0 is 5, 7 take away 0 is 7. Then they're going to switch. And this is what they'll tend to do. We go 5 take away 2 is 3. 3.75. Well, hang on. Do you remember before we said about putting it back together when we did that 40 divided by 8 equals 5, and then we checked it by doing 8 times 5 equals 40? We can do exactly the same with this question. We can do this plus this should equal this. So let's check it out. 3.75 plus 2.75. Does that equal 5? 5 add 5 is 10. carry my 1. 7 and 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. Again, I'm whizzing through. If you're worried that your children won't keep up with this, folks, I would not be whizzing through this quick in a session. We've got a decimal point there. 3 and 2 is 5. 5.50. Well, that is not right, is it? So we're going to be looking at why. What's gone wrong here? I know. Let's come back to our original question. And we know we cannot flip to do 5 take away 0. We must start at the top. So top to bottom. Top to bottom. Got 0, can't do anything, can't borrow here or exchange. Some children might refer to this. I, and probably many of the parents I'm talking to, borrowed. Yeah, do you remember the good old borrowing back in the day? So we're going all the way back to the 5. We're borrowing from the 5, so that becomes a 4. The 1 we've borrowed makes this a 10. But we still need 1 here, so we're going to borrow again from this 10 to make that a 9, and here's the 1. I did talk to somebody earlier. In fact, it was my nephew. He's in year 6, so we were having our session. We said, you can't actually borrow because you're not giving it back, are you? So probably exchange is a better way to talk about it. However, back to it. 10, we've now got. Take away 5, we can do. Give me your answer, so send it me in the chat. 10 take away 5 is 5. If you've worked it out already, send me the total answer. What does she have left? Can you see how it's going? 9 take away 7. We've got it. We've got 2. Don't forget that decimal, the all-important decimal. Remember, if it's money, it's weight in this case, but if it helps you understand, then that's fine. 4 take away 2. 2. So we think that she's got left 2.25 litres. Now, if I come back to the question, another point I'd be making to the children, that's really key. If you are working with units of measure, whether it be money, weight, height, length, etc., check that you've got your unit of measure correct. This one, we're okay because it says litres in the box. And on most of the SATs questions, I have to say, it does, all the papers that I've used. If by chance it didn't have that litres written in the box, then I'd be expecting the children to write it or at least represent it with the L, so the symbol for that unit. Just easy little tip to remember, but all these things are going to help. Let's check using the inverse. So remember, we're adding this time, okay? So let's go different colour so we can see. We're going to do 2.75, add 2.25. Now, some of you might be in your head, if you can, brilliant, send me your answer when you've got it. Private chat will be open to you. If they want to direct message me with their other scene, then that is fine too. 5 and 5 is 10, carry my 1. 7 and 2 is 9, plus this one is 10. It's a bit stuck there. Don't forget the all-important decimal in that column. 2 and 2 is 4. Don't forget the one you've carried under, which is 5. So 5.00. Do you remember we said £5? There you go. Forgotten how hard work it was doing a live. The strain on the voice. So there's another key point for me. Keep asking the children to send me their information and their answers so I can get some input from them. Yeah, there you go. In a nutshell, there you go. We've done a quick kind of whistle stop tour, half an hour. That's how it's going to go. Okay, so parents who are concerned or bothered or worried at all about any SATs and what their children are going to be faced with, hopefully those sessions are going to give them the confidence to have a go. A lot of the don't know what I was going to say, it's gone. Schools will be using those past papers. Okay, so I'm hoping that a lot of what we cover in the sessions, your children will come across at some point in school. I know some schools have already started doing past papers. In fact, I know one that started them way back before October half term, which I kind of feel like it's a bit 50-50 for that, isn't it? Because it's it's preparing them already. So daunting. They know what to expect. However, the pressure's on already, isn't it? SATs. You've got to do well. We've got to do this. We need to do that. We've got to work. So yes, my aim is to, as always, just to help them feel confident in what they're doing, help them feel confident in their ability, help them feel that they know they can. Okay. We'll have a little bit of fun along the way. Of course, I will always make it fun, but I know SATs are quite serious. I know they've got to take it serious. So the aim of the game is just to be able to do it together. Again, I'm going to refer back to my nephew this evening. So he's really not keen on maths. He doesn't like maths. He doesn't think he's good at it. He is. Once, you know, when we get to the nitty gritty, he's really good at stuff, especially mental arithmetic. The wording stuff, not so much, because it's jargon, isn't it? It's all that language, as I said. It's like an English test. Just to say as well, send me questions. If you've got any questions, send them, or you can email me. I'll tell you my email address shortly. So what I said to Callum was, he went, oh, I don't want to do it. I can't do that. Can we do some English instead? I said, no. So because if you get that question, and you might get that question, you went, I won't get that question at school. I said, you might, because you might do that paper. It's last year's SATs paper we were looking at, which is where these are from. Will I? No, I won't. How do you know? So because that's what schools do. I know, you know, I know that schools use these past papers. So I said, is it better for me to, no, I didn't. I said, if you go to school and do that, you have that question and you can't do it, your teacher won't help you. You've got to do a test and you've got to do that question by yourself. Is it better to do it with me now? And I tell you what to do. And he agreed. So again, that's the aim of this, isn't it? Get the kids onto these SAT sessions. I'll talk them through the methods they need to use. If they know what they're doing, then hopefully, if they jump onto any of the sessions, it's just a confidence boost to make them feel more confident than they already are, to know they might feel internally that they can, but they're not quite sure. But if they come on and they're getting stuff right, and you don't have to commit to a course of sessions, you can pick and choose them as much as you want, as little as you want. There's going to be a minimum of 12 sessions, okay? Now, I think there might be about 15 because I'm going to include holiday sessions in that as well. So going up to the SATs week, I'm hoping to kind of run some boosters during that week as well. So we can have extra sort of last minute sort of confidence boosting, cramming, whatever. Those sessions are going to run now weekly on a Thursday from 7 o'clock until 8. Okay. There'll be a minimum of 45 minutes of my input. One of the reasons it's not the full hour of me is because, one, they don't want to hear me for a whole hour, and two, my voice can't take it. So there'll be a minimum of 45 or thereabouts 45 minutes of input, which will include the engagement that you've seen this evening with quizzes and quick games, arithmetic questions, quick fire stuff going on. Hopefully I can get, as I say, Kahoot stuff going so we can interact as well. Followed by talking through the questions, covering a topic each week. So what I will be doing is using all of the past papers. And let's say we'll be doing fractions. So what I will do is I will take 3 or 4 questions using fractions, different types of questions. So compare fractions, simplify fractions, operations with fractions. So adding, taking away, mixed number fractions, word problems, including fractions. We'll look at a whole host of them. So they'll be all encompassing. Your child who might not be confident with fractions, hopefully at the end of that session will feel some confidence in what they are doing. We'll be looking at methods to use. We'll be looking at working out those fraction questions, how to tackle them. We'll be looking at the language involved in the reasoning questions and follow-up tasks sent to you, so those they can complete work to kind of continue that, the revision, if you like, and build their knowledge, which then can be sent to me for marking. So going on to that, if you get your children signed up, or your child, then there will be a private Facebook group where I will be available for you to send messages to me, to send me examples of work that your child has done. And then I can access that before sessions to look over. I would never mention names unless parents were happy to, but I could possibly use some examples of work to share then on our Zoom screens, and we can talk through good examples. We can talk through where mistakes that we might all have made, and we can work on things together. What else? Costings. So the costings are £20 per session, which includes that hour. So the 45 minutes of teach, and then the last 15 minutes will be feedback. Parents will be, entitled to jump on, and you can feel free to come and jump into the Zoom and send me messages. I'm not sure yet how people feel about camera on and camera off and all that malarkey, but if parents want to jump on the Zoom and want to sort of ask me openly questions, and I can answer anything, or I can take some feedback from you there and then and come back to you for the next session, then that I will do that too. Yeah, I think that's it. If anybody wants to contact me, my email address is shineandlearn@gmail.com. Let me pop that in the chat, actually. Shine and learn. Oh, if only you could see the start of my desk here. It's my dining room table. shineandlearn@gmail.com is my email address if anybody wants to contact me. And just drop me a note. Ask me any other questions you've got. If you, as I say, you can just choose, you can pick and choose if you only want certain sessions, that's fine. I'll try to let you know in advance what the topic is going to be. Although it's not set in stone, because as much as I will be covering everything, I aim to cover everything. I've kind of loosely got the idea of the topics we'll cover, but it could change from week to week. That's just me, and that's how I roll. And if you wanted to sign up for a block and you want to book in for at least 10, you will get one free. Okay, so £20 for the hour, which includes 10-15 minutes of me at the end, at your disposal to ask questions, etc. It will include homework set and work marked and feedback too for that £20 for the hour. Okay, so that covers that too. So what's going to happen? What will you get from that? Well, your child will hopefully, and my aim is to build your child's confidence and get them feeling more confident in what they're doing and just feeling like they can do it. Okay, because a lot of kids just go, I can't do it, I don't want to do it, and we don't want that. Right. Thank you all. Thank you for dropping in. Thank you if you're watching on replay. If you are watching on replay, please hashtag replay, would be amazing, because it just bumps it up for others to see, it keeps it up the top. I think most of us know how Facebook's algorithms work these days. And yeah, thank you all. Thank you for your interest. Please share, please let people know. They're going to be up and running from next week, so I'll be doing lots of promoting for it. So yeah, please do share away with anyone you know. Kisses back, Deb. Thank you. Lovely of you to jump on. Bless you. And if Mia's there too, lots of love. And thanks, folks. And I will see you all hopefully very soon. I'm going to try and switch everything off now. Let's see if we can do this, shall we?